really deep A horizons that are all man-made. We had this same thing in the United States through our burning practices. And so as we look at all these examples, we see that that could not have happened without Homo sapiens. So when we try to reclaim our ecological self, that's what I mean. I mean that we are nature and we're just as much belong on the land as a wolf does, as a bison does, as a mycelium does, as an echinacea plant does, as a sunflower does. We have a role to play. The thing is, we're not playing it. So we have to remember how to do it. And the way that we do that is we always look at a landscape and we try to think, how can I make this better than what I found it? And we always say, how can I support the biodiversity of this place? It's very different mindset than the capitalist extractive mindset, which looks at land and says, how can I get rich off of this land? How can I sell these sheep? How can I sell their wool? How can I turn a profit here? It's very, very not working. We all know this. And ironically, the more we try to enrich ourselves on the land, the more bankrupt we become, both spiritually and materially. But ironically, the more we give to the land and say, how can I support the ecosystem here? How can I make sure that when the butterflies come back in the spring, they have plenty of milkweed to eat? And so that they're going to be healthy. Maybe we'd see a milkweed patch and we're not going to touch it because we know those butterflies, the monarch butterflies, that's the only thing they eat. It's the only thing they build their cocoons on. So we got to make sure that the milkweed is intact. We have to say, oh, well, let's make sure that the eagles have places to land and that we don't cut these trees down so they can control the rodent population a little bit, balance it out. We look at the land and we say, oh, how can I make sure that these clams are enough so that all the animals can eat? I could give you hundreds of more examples, many of which are in my dissertation, which is called Architects of Abundance. If you just Google Lyla June, Architects of Abundance, you'll see my bibliography. There's hundreds of articles about indigenous regenerative, or human, I want to see about worldwide human regenerative techniques. And lastly, I'll just say to wrap up that when we discuss rewilding our connection to the natural world, and there's a big rewilding movement in Europe, right? Which is great, has great intentions. Here's my little thing about that, is that a lot of these places, they were never wild. Think about the chestnut grove. When the colonists came, they thought all of those chestnuts were um, basically naturally occurring, that they just magically happened there. But when they call it wild and natural, they're erasing thousands of years of human heritage, thousands of years of indigenous food forest management. That's why we as indigenous peoples don't like people to call our land wild or wilderness, because it was always a garden. It was always cultivated. It was always an interspecial farm that wasn't just to feed humans, but was to feed everything. And we managed the land extensively. This place was never wild. It was never wilderness. So there's nothing to rewild. And we arguably, I think what people more are saying is they want humans to be more in connection with other life forms. I think that's what we kind of mean when we say rewilding ourselves, is right. Like we got to rewild ourselves, but the land in many places, including in the United Kingdom, was very, very curated, very clipped, very pruned, very burned in special places, very selected, very curated by Homo sapiens throughout the British Isles.